Congratulations, you made it. It's part 4 of the 4-part series, tour of Cardinal Song Studio here in Oklahoma City that I am now very fortunate to be in B-Room. You've probably heard this over and over if you've seen the channel. Most of you are likely new because I'm kind of new. And if you don't know me, my name's Aaron Newberry. I am a film composer, sound designer, music producer. I like to do quite a few things. So this is legitimately the 3rd time I've tried this intro video because the first time was basically just a big test. The second time I overdid it on the RX because my room still is relatively untreated and I was like using a boom mic and I wanted it to sound really great, and so I guess I don't know what happened, but I still make mistakes all the time. Quick rundown, episode 1, Michael and I walking through Cardinal Song, talking through philosophy, approach to music, how he got started, how he acquired some of this cool gear, some of the bands he's worked with, Coldplay, Counting Crows, Philip Glass, no big deal. Second is mic closet. Third is we go through all the guitars and basses, and this is the 4th episode. This is episode 4. Number 4. Quattro numero. There's 4 of these. We talk about 500 series rack gear, the API, the tape machine. It made sense to come back and actually do a deeper dive in the gear because we did kind of sort of skirt over some of that, but anything that's gonna be like a preamp, an EQ, stuff like that, we talk all about that stuff in Studio A, which is the main room that Michael does all his work out of. I just want to say thank you so much for watching these videos. It's been really fun to make these. Myself and Michael really appreciate it. And before we go, I do want to say big time thank you to Michael for being so rad and being willing to be in my videos and being willing to do walkthroughs. If you would, go follow Cardinal Song on Instagram. I'll link below. And you can follow me and Michael on Instagram, which I'll also link below because we're here a lot. We post a lot. Post things from here. There's a lot going on. There's more stuff coming. So anyways, I hope you enjoy episode 4 of a Cardinal Song Studio tour in Oklahoma City. I always imagine like NPR radio hosts just like, and the guy in the booth, like the recording engineer just being like, can you just please speak up a little bit? Welcome back to episode 4 of Cardinal Song Studio. Shameless hit like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Bye. Have fun. All right. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah.
Michael.
I'm Michael. You're Michael too?
Yeah.
Okay. So hi, I'm Aaron New. Welcome to YouTube.
We're going to make this easier. We're just going to start by the thing that's closest to you. You get to choose, really.
Okay.
This is dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah.
We'll start with 500 series then. We have 2 Arsenal V14s, those EQs.
These 2?
These 2. These green lot right here. They're EQs. Awesome. They're wonderful. They're 4 bands. They're great. Followed by 2 Cush Audio Electra 500s. Fantastic. My love for that company runs deep.
You do love Cush stuff. You have all their plugins, right?
Yeah, they're fantastic. They make really wonderful things. API 550B, 4-band version of more or less the 550A, which I have lots of them on the
It's pretty ubiquitous.
console. It's pretty great.
Pretty ubiquitous.
Followed by a CP5, which, because I had an extra slot and an extra one laying around, just popped it in there.
So that's from DIY recording.
Yep, recording equipment, DIYRE, those folks.
That's the
and
color
it's got
module,
the
right?
Yeah, it's got the 15 nips color module in it.
Cool. Love it.
And then we've got the radial reamping, the EXTC reamp for the 500 series, which is great. Right now I just got it hooked up to the tape echo. It mostly stays like that. But if ever I'm trying to get pedals in and out, it's a really fast interface for that. Pretty great.
Heck yeah.
Heritage Audio BT500, because aux cables are for suckers.
Today they are.
Yep.
I'm still running like the 30-pin iPod connector, you know.
That's awesome.
That's not true at all. No, this is actually really cool.
It's super handy.
So it just means like you can
Bluetooth to it.
So you can play back any. If I had a Dropbox thing and I didn't want to go through the time, I just hook up here or Spotify, you know, whatever.
Yeah, from your phone, from your laptop, anything, you just Bluetooth straight to it. It shows up on the patch bay. I can patch it anywhere around, and off you go.
And it's actually pretty good Bluetooth too. So
as far as Bluetooth goes,
it connects fast.
It does. It's efficient. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And aux cords are for suckers.
Boom. I had a lot of questions about these. We'll just go in an
hook it around?
Yeah. These 2 here.
Yeah.
Lots of questions about those.
Okay, that's a guy out in Massachusetts. I don't know that his studio is called this, but the company is Bleeding Ear Audio. They're just pass-throughs. So these don't do anything. All they do is connect what the ports on the back of this to the front. So it's awesome for doing something just as simple as having like a DI in here. The outputs of the Kemper are running it right into here, so I could pick up the outputs on the patch bay and patch them to any mic amp. That's just awesome, and they are so
Cheap. Yeah.
inexpensive. I think they're $40.
Wait, that? I thought,
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
There's nothing to them. It's just a card and two XLRs. I'm
These are
grateful
kind of
for
people.
him. Yeah.
These are kind of
He's
people.
doing something simple and utilitarian, and it's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. So we just finished with our friend over at Bleeding Ear Audio
We did.
and his wonderful utilitarian bits.
Now we've got some more DIY recording equipment
Yes.
gear. These are really cool.
Color palettes.
Yes.
They're awesome. I mean, they're just distortion boxes, more or less.
Yep.
So each one of them they run in series into each other. So you can either do one at a time or all of them, and then you've got an output trim. It's wonderful.
Very, very cool pieces.
Super, super cool.
Yeah. And then next to them you've got...
The
These are really
DBX.
cool. I love these. I think they're cool.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine. It's one of those, they don't sound spectacular.
They're just fast.
They're fast and they do some compression. So for tracking, especially for drums, just to get a little 1 or 2 dB hit on them just to pull down some of the transients is helpful. The retro double wides,
the big
these things are
boys.
fantastic. Yeah, they're not quite like the stay levels, but it's its own sort of circuit, and they're really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sound really great.
I think the form factor of having those in 500 and the fact that they're actually fairly affordable.
They are. They're just under
They're
$1,000.
so grand, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I get the affordable is,
It's a relative. It's just
Yeah.
It's a wide swinging thing, but
yeah.
it's pretty great.
And then this, I've actually used this too. This thing sounded great.
Oh man, the PCM60 is
Yeah.
so.
It's a classic.
clutch. Yeah, and I love that the buttons are just buttons. There's no sub menus. There's nothing.
Yeah.
They're just like, I would like a large, short haul or whatever. You're like,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, large short doesn't necessarily make sense, but trust me, it makes perfect sense. Reverb time versus the diffusion, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty great.
And then I've been super curious about these guys.
The H9, that's connected to the computer via USB, and we can dial in any Eventide effect, basically, a single effect right there.
Wow, really?
That's great, yeah.
That's
Anything
awesome.
that the H9 offers, and it offers a lot. So, and it's got line.
Like what? Like what is it?
Most of all the DSP stuff they've built exists here. So the black hole, all those different things, those are in here, as well as most of their, to some extent, the vintagey pieces. It's pretty cool. So it's nice. It's very cool for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's got line level inputs and outputs. You just have to change it in the software, and once you do that, it's easy peasy.
That is so rad.
Yeah, so if we can get a H9 Max for what, $500, and it's got a gajillion different effects. You can only run one effect at a time, but it's
No matter.
who's really trying to chain 14 effects in a single box? So that's cool.
That's really cool. And
Yeah.
then we have another tape echo here.
Another tape echo, the Hiwatt. It's cool. It's solid state, so it's more like an EP3 as opposed to an EP1, which is what the tube tape is more like.
How do they differ in sound then?
Solid state tube.
But
So,
if you were explaining it to somebody that doesn't know what those things are.
this saturates different, so you can really drive the front end of it differently than this. They both saturate, but this gets squishier and kind of more harmonic.
Yeah.
This one a little less so, but it's a very, very cool piece.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of saturation,
Yeah, who makes this? RSP. They don't make it anymore, that's why. It doesn't get turned on a lot, but when it's right, it really does do the thing. So it's just kind of trashy.
what might that thing be?
Well, I made a record with some friends. It's called Ex-Wives is the band. And
It's a great name.
yeah, I love it. We basically ran everything through this. It was great.
Awesome.
So like every individual piece and then the mix and just destroyed it. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was really cool.
You've got quite a bit of poison when it comes to saturation and like fuzzy, dirty sounding things, which is really fun.
That record was really fun to make because it was just, there were no shits given. It was just one of those like, and then we're going to run a 57 directly into the tube tape echo and then into a mic amp. I think it was one of the CP5s, distort that, and then run it into here, distort it again, and then that's the vocal sound.
That's too cool.
No EQ, nothing.
Is this on Spotify or Apple Music?
Yeah, it's there.
And it's called Ex-Wives?
Ex-Wives, yeah.
I love it.
The record's called You Called Me. So.
And you have to say it like that. Mm-hmm. It's not You Called Me. It's You Called Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
This guy is awesome. This is
Retro
on
283,
your tubas, right?
Oftentimes, yes. It's a big dumb Altec EQ. It's wonderful. It just sounds so luscious. This little subharmonic filter is worth its weight in gold. So,
to you, putting it on your tubas, like, what does that get you?
Well, it just gives me some flexibility with EQ. So, and I'm not doing a lot with it. It's one of those, you're kind of lifting and tucking the low end just a little bit along with the filter, and then maybe just a little baby bit of top end, and then I also kind of shape the really, really high stuff too. Not by much. We're talking about, a decibel and a half at most. Just kind of tucking and lifting. And yeah, it's great.
Very cool. I've been curious.
Ampex 440s.
Yeah.
Those were modded to be line amplifiers from the original tape head stack. So they just bring transformers and weirdness. So they just, they're super cool. They don't get used a ton, but when it's perfect, there's nothing, when the thing calls for that, there's nothing better.
So there are pieces in here like this and like these and like those where you're like, I've got just the thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pieces like that are really fun.
Absolutely.
I've been curious about those ever since I started here.
Yeah, you should run something into them. They need to be cleaned a little bit. These little cards get a little dirty, so you got to kind of. But yeah, they're cool. You can see this one's dimed, and that's probably just because the card needs to be reset.
Yeah, I know very little about those things. I would love to get a little bit handsy with them.
So up top, we've got, and there were a lot of questions from our first video regarding our brief, me just brushing over this really quickly.
Yeah.
And those are all Eurorack modules for synthesizers. And these are mostly effects that I have in this, and they're patched directly into the patch bay.
Yeah, so that's a tube reverb.
Yeah, spring reverb, tube
flutter.
The wow and flutter is a delay. It's awesome.
It looks like it's awesome.
Yeah, and then clouds.
This is another delay?
The clouds is a texture synthesizer.
This thing?
Yeah.
From Monsoon?
It's another company that's made a smaller version of clouds. And then over there's just another crappy delay, and then the tip top, the Z, whatever, I can't remember.
Z5000?
Yeah, and that's a multi-effects box. It's pretty cool. And then there's an LFO, and then after that, we've got the box that breaks everything out from the patch bay into Eurorack levels and then back to line level. That was pretty great.
That was the module that you said you enjoyed, or you thought was like one of the coolest things you had.
It's so cool because it does all the conversion for you. Yeah, it's wonderful. So and yeah.
So you're using this in a lot of ways, like you're taking something that's already recorded, you're routing through it, or
anything that's operating at line level, getting it into the Eurorack world is really easy with that conversion box.
Yeah.
And so I'm using it mostly for the weird Eurorack effects.
How often do you feel like you go to stuff like this?
Not a crazy often amount,
Yeah.
because if I'm doing something that's even remotely traditional, there's no reason to go over here most of the time. If I have room to get a little weird, then
we're gonna get weird this fall.
We're going to get super weird this fall, and I think it's always a great time to bust that out. This Metasonics thing is just absolutely crazy.
It looks amazing.
Well,
the tubes are sticking right out of it.
Yeah, it's super wild, and it just does its thing. There's no like, oh, and this is a really nice spring. It's like, no, this is a crazy spring, and that's what's really cool about it.
Vacuum tube reverb. Yeah, very
wonderful.
Cool.
It's wonderful. So below that, we've got the Telefunken U373A, which is a very, very old At least the cards on the inside of it are very, very old Telefunken solid-state compressors, some of the earliest solid-state compressors ever made. So it's pretty darn cool, and it doesn't do anything kind.
So it's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
Got it.
So it was like a broadcast limiter. So when you lean into it, it's incredible because it just goes like the crazy sort of like distortion artifacts with the compression. It's awesome. But yeah, there's never a point where it's like, oh, that's really subtle and pretty.
Yeah.
It just kind of shines at being ridiculous.
That's another. I've got just the thing.
Man, I use it all the time. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. For like drum, like a mono overhead or like some sort of crushy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect for that. We just did a track this last weekend with our friend Isaac, and that was the entire drum sound. It was just a set of room mics just completely trashed through that.
It's so fun.
And then just keep the kick drum, and that was it.
That's too much fun.
Yeah, it was great.
What's below that?
The Langevin ELOP limiter. It's just a very clean solid state limiter. I just use it to basically just touch, kind of like we use the 560s over here. We're just barely, getting it to reduce a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I see you have those on the overheads right now.
They were for the session that we were just on. Yeah.
Cool. Well, the drums we just recorded, I thought sounded great. So
yeah,
job well done.
Thanks, bud.
1176.
Yep, the original one.
Black.
Yep. It is the Blackface. It's a Series F. It's great. It's the best 1176 I've ever heard. I got that from the Looking Glass. So when we were closing that space, that was the one piece I bought.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a little bit of heritage.
Wait. So you brought a piece of the Looking Glass with you.
Mm-hmm.
That is too cool.
Yeah.
We did not cover that last time.
We did not.
That's a really big deal. The fact that as you start to like learn more and more about gear, for those who don't already know this stuff, that's like a big deal. Like having the gear, that somebody recorded on, like that's kind of like lore,
countless amazing records were made with that piece of equipment.
Yeah, so like records you've heard and you don't know.
Yeah.
We have a piece of gear that was made,
It's beautiful. I love it.
So. And you were about to move on below it to this
guy. MOHOG. It's an 1176.
It's a Blueface.
It's a Blueface. They only sold the blue ones to the Zen Pro Audio guys. Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's so similar to the Series. It's modeled after a Series F. That's a Series F. They sound so similar to each other. The cool thing about that is you can switch between two different transformers. So you've got the Cardinal or the Ed Core, and that gives you two totally different vibes on the output.
Yeah, that is rad.
Yeah, it's super cool. They have gotten really hard to find since, I mean, they stopped. I guess they closed shop. But yeah, they're getting harder and harder to find. So if you find one, get one.
Well,
they're awesome.
I think Audioscape's making some really cool stuff right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you know about them?
I don't know that much about them.
I like how they release their stuff. They do it on Wednesday nights and I think Saturday nights. I can't remember. I'll do the thing like I'm wrong. But anyways, that'll be in another video, I guess. So
there you go.
Below that, we have some staples.
Yeah, some warm audio stuff. They got the two LA2s, which are great. They sound like an LA2. They're a whole lot less expensive than an LA2, so that's the good news. And if you were to build an LA2, they actually used all the stuff that the guys who build really good ones use. So it's pretty great. Yeah, and then you got the Poltecs below that, which are, they don't sound like Poltecs.
I do like their knobs, though.
Those look like Poltecs. So, and I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not pooping on the fact that it doesn't sound like a Poltec. Nothing can sound like a Poltec. There's the transformers, the tubes, the stuff, it's impossible. These sound like really nice inductor-based EQs. So my previous statement was not being slanderous in any way, shape, or form. They do the inductor-based EQ thing so well, but they don't, it'd be impossible for them to sound exactly like a Poltec.
It's actually good. It's worth noting that, I think, because people are like, I've seen reviews where like they don't sound like Poltecs. It's like,
but they're not gonna. You can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You get the idea, though. It's a Poltec style EQ.
Yeah, it's an inductor-based EQ.
It's going to be, nice big broad strokes.
Yeah, and it's wonderful for that.
Speaking of big broad strokes, These bad boys. We touched on them on the studio tour, but
The Altecs,
they're
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, the 1567s. They're really cool. It's just a 5-channel mixer. You know, they're mono output. They're really cool. I use them a lot for, as you can see, the overheads right now.
Yep.
But because they don't have phantom power or anything like that, sometimes I got to grab the external phantom box and then bring things into it that way. So, but they sound lovely and they get distorted and fun in that way too.
Heck
so,
yeah.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna do some kind of funny jump cut and then go over here. Cool?
Funny jump cut.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
We're gonna jump.
So we are at the final piece here, at least for this bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna just start, and I'm gonna go from the top down over here.
Okay.
I myself have been curious. What on earth do we have right here?
Well, we have a Furman power conditioner to start.
We do. Those are important.
Never sleep on your power conditioners, boys and girls. Below that, we have the TL Audio dual valve equalizer. Another one of those pieces that doesn't get turned on a lot. I've got plenty more mic amps that I like better than that. Those are not bad mic amps by any stretch of the term, but it's just a little less colorful than the other things that I have. It's great. It's pretty neutral. The EQ that's built into it is, this top band is pretty nice, honestly.
Nice.
The 12K band feels nice and airy. It's pretty great.
Can you only engage the EQ? Can you bypass?
Yeah, you can go line level into it.
That's nice.
Yeah, so you can either go mic or line into it.
Well, then that's lovely.
Yeah, so you can use it just to brighten a couple things
Yeah.
up. It's great.
And
Below
then-
that, we've
yeah.
got a rack spacer for heat dissipation, which honestly, another thing not to sleep on if you've got a bunch of tube stuff. This is tube. The 601s are also tube. So just being able to have good airflow through it is, I know this sounds dumb. I wasn't being an asshole intentionally, but yeah, that is helpful. So, and then below that, we've got the 4 Chandler Germanium preamps, which are wonderful.
What are these? What do they sound like for people who've never heard
So
them?
those are based loosely, my understanding is that they are based loosely on the Neve 80 series console mic amps.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Nice. So it's a no frills. It's just a pre. You're getting.
that's it.
Yeah. There's no EQ or anything.
It's great. So
Well, you must like it because you have 4 of them.
I have 4 of them. I started with 2 eons ago. It was one of the first outboard purchases I ever made. Was when I was still back at Looking Glass in New York. And then a year ago, thereabouts, a pair of them popped up on Vintage King for a really nice price, but it didn't have the power supply. I just so happened to have an extra power supply.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it was one of those like, oh, okay, well, because I had a backup one from forever because there was randomly a Chandler power supply at the Guitar Center locally that nobody bought for like 3 years. I just sat there and watched it. And so
That's kind of funny.
So then when they finally made it a $75 item, I was like, cool, I'll just take that now. And
Not bad.
not bad. So yeah, it's just, yeah. So I always had a backup, and then funny enough, one of the power supplies did crap out, so I sent it back, used the backup one. I got them both refurbished, so boom.
Hey,
It worked out
That
perfect.
worked out really
So-
great, actually.
Yeah, and these sound incredible. They're again, no frills. They just sound wonderful. The DIs on them are great.
DIs are very good on them. Yeah.
So-
I feel like people overlook the DIs on some of these pre's.
100%. Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things about the Chameleon Lab 7602.
Yeah.
The DI is incredible.
Yeah.
With that EQ, it's so good.
Yeah, and another Neve clone there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a great Neve clone. That's a really budget friendly. Like
Yeah.
you can get a pair of 7602s with a PSU for like $700, $800
Yeah,
now.
they're not crazy.
And I think they're great.
Yeah.
I know people that have 4 of those.
Right.
Okay, so these are very cool.
The Ampex 601s.
These guys right here
Right. So
are rad.
they've gone through a lot of different iterations in life. The top one is the only one that's currently it's the only one that's currently working. I just got it back from Electric and Company down in Austin area. They build their own 601, 602 sort of circuitry designs, as well as a 351 now. They have a 351, Ampex 3051, excuse me. Preamp, which is really cool. But they've been modding these old ones for a while, and I've just kind of kept my ear to the ground with them. And I hit them up, and they're really sweet, lovely people. And they modded this 601 to be a stereo 601, which is really nice. And then I'm going to have this other one done, and then I'll have 4 channels of that 601, which is really super cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, so it's just such a colorful and really harmonically rich mic amp. It's kind of in the vein of the Altecs. It's a totally different. They're not as nosy as the Altecs are. They definitely do the Ampex thing, but it's wonderful. So yeah, that's what that is. And I had to build this little custom doodad to do the conversion from the way that the snakes break out to be able to get into the second channel here.
So this was just for your flow, like the way that you got everything.
Yeah, because it has these front inputs. They reactivated the input on the front, so I needed a way to get back into them. And so I just built these little guys, and they hook up to the actual snake that's on the back. So
yeah.
So they're awesome. So I can't wait to get the second one sent off, and then I will have, like I said, 4 channels of that. And then they've also got the DIs as well. So then I have 4 additional DIs, and these are just incredible. The 601, 602 series of the Ampexes, they've now gotten to be a little more popular. But previously, I mean, I paid nothing for the 2 of those at the time. And then I had them modded by another guy out in Arizona who's a wonderful tech, Andy Barrett. He's incredible. And he did a really wonderful job with these, but the big selling point to me was being able to move them to stereo.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the craziness of it all. So these are incredible. I love them. Absolutely.
Yeah, you were pretty wild about those.
Yeah.
I love that.
They're great.
Your monitors real quick right now. Last time we were in here, you had your ProAx.
The ProAx up, yeah.
But you've got your NS10s here now.
We've got the 10s up now.
Yeah. Just different flavor.
They offer something different when I'm listening. Yeah, they the gentleman we spoke about previously, Brian Bender, in the other video, his explanation of an NS10 is one of my favorite things. It's I can't remember where he said it, but it's like popping pimples underneath a fluorescent light. That's what an NS10
That's
is.
terrible.
Yeah. So it's exactly what it is too.
That is terrible.
Yeah, they are very focused.
They're bad.
Yeah.
I heard them for the first time in here.
Yeah.
Can you believe that I've made it this long without ever listening to a pair of NS10s?
No.
I can't either.
Yeah.
But it's true. And then I heard them, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
They're
If you can make a mix sound good on those,
It goes everywhere.
it's going to be great
It's
everywhere.
it's so impressive what they do, and it's not because they're a great sounding speaker. It's because they are a speaker that reveals all the bad stuff that's going on.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So, they're invaluable. So it was kind of a time to. I still have the ProAx. They're still wonderful.
Yeah, just right back there.
In the back, but I put the 10s up for offering a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh my godness.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. It's quite a challenge.
And then we've got the Avanto Mix Cube, which I believe we covered ad nauseum in the previous thing.
We did, and you converted me on that, but I've not used it yet, just mostly because I haven't had time.
Yeah, that's okay.
The centerpiece, the 1608.
Yep.
This thing is, the more I learn about it, the more I think, wow, what an awesome piece of gear, especially as a center point for a studio.
Yeah, it's great. It's like we mentioned previously, it's so fast and so intuitive. You can just get work done. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really quick. I like that you have the one that can talk to
The automation system.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
As I'm gonna get to learn this stuff a little more, I'm slowly. It's starting to like dawn on me how efficient it is.
Yeah, it's super fast.
I actually am starting to realize, because my workflow is largely no faders.
Right.
I'm starting to kind of hate it.
Faders are a huge deal.
I'm kind of starting to hate it. So that's probably going to be an investment that I'm going to make.
Yeah.
I probably won't go like, I'm not going to get this.
But also, don't forget, if you've got an iPad, you've got faders. Like I know it's not as much fun, but it gets the job done.
Well,
I worked like that for a long time.
So you've got the API, and you've got, what's really cool is you have all that EQ too.
Yeah.
Like
the 560s and the 550s.
So nice. Yeah. And you said that you want to get some more of these, right? These 560s?
I'd like to get 4 more of them just to kind of split the dust 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm really in love with just the workflow of the 560. It's just so fast.
What makes that fast? Because I feel like it would be slower.
Oh, you're just like,
There's
yeah.
more to there's
no,
more to move.
I want to tame all the low end and kind of push the low mids. Like that's how. It's just fast. It's just really fast.
Yeah. So we've touched on these guys over here.
Right, the
Because you
CP5s and the Camden.
Yeah. What are these real quick? I don't remember.
Cranbourne Audio, the Camden is the model name. They're just mic amps. And they also do the color thing. You can pop the 2 different styles of color, and then the Mojo knob turns it up or down.
Mojo knob.
Mojo knob.
Thank you. And then, so you actually have 6 of these.
Yeah, we put one of them over in that blank space that we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, and then I've got one more floating. So.
And then this guy.
Yep, the
That
Smart
is
C1LA.
awesome. Yeah.
C1LA.
That's
Alan Smart, the genius.
so what makes Alan's like why is Alan Smart stuff so good?
I don't know. He's just there for it. Like he knows what he's doing.
I love the way his stuff looks too.
Yeah.
I think it looks really clean and
Yeah,
cool
absolutely.
and vibey. It's like sterile, but like in the most characterful way.
Sure.
It's kind of an odd way to put it, but
Yeah.
they're sexy.
Yeah.
So
He does a great job. So yeah, we got the Studer A820. It's a 1/4-inch reel-to-reel tape machine. It's awesome. Why do I have tape? Because tape does something that no other medium does. There's just something really special about the way that it manages both transients and just I don't know if anybody out there has got plugins of these sorts of things, whether it's the Universal Audio Studer or their Ampex ATR 102 or any other host of a plethora of tape simulators out there, you know that it just does something different. And that's what's great about it. It brings a different kind of stereo separation. It deals with transients differently. It just adds harmonics. It's such a wonderful thing. To be able to print a mix through that is just great. It's such an amazing piece.
So I've never gotten to work with tape, so I obviously have a pretty big fascination with it.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a wonderful thing.
Well, I think that covers it. We pretty much hit it all. There's plenty of little things here and there, synth world and all that, but like for all the gear nuts, we pretty much got it all covered. I wanted to show off the studio a little bit. I want to learn some of this stuff. Some people online want to learn. So thanks for letting us back into your space. And also thanks for having me in your space.
Thank you for being here.
Because I love it here. This is great. I love being here. Cardinal Song. Yeah. Take care.
Thanks, bud.
Happy Father's
See you
Day.
across the hallway.
Yep.